Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Ultra hardware number 15850. This is a crash chain that is in a 30 and a half inch length, which tells me this is going to be used on doors that are wider than 3 foot, wider than 3'6", 4 foot. I suppose you could use it on a smaller door, but standard convention is that you've got about a 20-inch chain for doors that are 2'6", about 25-inch when you have 3-foot doors. You get into the 30-inch range and you're really now dealing with wider doors where you need to spread the mounting points out further during the standard installation. And having a long chain on a smaller door means hardware hangs off the door, which provides a scenario by which you might have unintentional contact with hanging hardware. There are absolutely no installation instructions with this whatsoever. None. Be mindful of that. Ultra does not offer any. They are very good at what they do. Facilitate the delivery of goods to market. And there is a particular gentleman there who is incredibly helpful, but perhaps a mastery of installation of such a piece of hardware may not be their strongest suit. As a result, you are literally dealing with something that you're going to have to use reality and common sense when you're installing it. I will give you a guide by which to install this. Having installed these in the past, let's take a look. Now, using just my experience, I would locate the header portion about 4 inches over from the jamb on the header. This is going to go up onto the header and come about 4 inches over. Then open your door to 90 degree. Take the other side, or I should say the point by which you really want the stop feature of the crash chain to be active. 90, let's say, maybe 110, maybe a little bit smaller. Locate this on the door, about 3/4 inch from the top of the door. Don't go any higher because you'll hit the stop of the frame. And you can come down a little bit lower too, that's certainly no problem, but you're installing it about 3/4 inch from the top of the door so that it will be installed at the same height as the frame portion. Okay, you don't really want to have it installed like this. There's no reason for that. You'll want to do a reality check and make sure that it does not make contact with anything like a door closer when it goes through the open and closing cycle. If it does, make some adjustments. But you are, again, really, when it's 30 and a half, you're dealing with something that's wider than 3 foot. Now, having said that, I'm sure that you could slide this back. And I can see that you can. They are going to give you a clip. If I were to continue to pull on this, I'd be able to shrink that down. There is a clip here that you could certainly use to join a couple of links together to shorten the chain. You could also, with enough work, get this portion pinched and pulled down through the coil and simply install that onto one of the other links to shorten it that way. I've done it that way myself. It's a little bit of work to do that, but I found it easier than trying to jam this into the vinyl sleeve, coupling the two pieces together. But that's how you would go about doing it. And a guide, again, about 25 inch if you're dealing with a 3-foot door. So this chain is great because it gives you everything you need to go from small doors to medium to large size doors, but expect it to be too long if you're dealing with a standard door. Now, back to the installation instructions. 4 inch over on the header, about 3/4 inch from the top of the door when you're at 90 degrees. Stretch that out. Do a reality check. If everything seems like it's going to work, mark all your holes, pre-drill all your holes, and screws are included. Now, another thing that is less than ideal is the fact that they simply give you flathead sheet metal screws. You're going to certainly want in a good installation, because the crash chain is really nothing beyond a last-ditch effort to try to mitigate a problem of a door swinging too far. It's very often that I find that the wind will grab the door and it will just literally rip this out of the face of the door, or it will literally destroy this cast piece of hardware that's here. I've seen it done both ways. If the door has not been reinforced or the chain has not been through-bolted through the door, I see that piece just get pulled straight out. You've got now 4 erupted holes where the screws once were, and really rendering ineffective and dangerous the installation in your attempt to mitigate the problem of a wildly swinging door. If you know up front you're going to do this, have the header reinforced so that you can drill and tap good quality screws into the header. Then purchase, and we can help you source sex bolts that would be like a 1024 size. So a smaller size bolt that will go through the door, and you can drill that and literally bolt it through the door just like you would with a door closer. Very common. Or, of course, reinforcing it as well, drilling and tapping. But it's not so... You're not going to find a stock steel door, let's say, that is reinforced for a crash chain. So through bolting it there. If you've got access to the frame, it's very likely it already has reinforcement if it's an outswing door, which it certainly would be, for the parallel arm bracket of the door closer. So you want to be really careful that you don't have conflict between the closer and the crash chain, but the point is the steel may already be there for you to drill and tap into. Okay, that would all be important. An overall length of the chain, the way that it rests here, they call it 30.5. That's really more a reference to the length of the chain. The overall length, end to end, is closer to 32.5. But the center to center of the mounting points is where you're going to come up with the 30.5 inch. The center of this point to the center of the opposite point. Okay. Description down below this video, sold as each. Used for heavy-duty commercial doors. 2 rugged compression springs with cast mounting plates. You're going to have one of these spring arresters at either end. Okay. And they certainly can be affected when they don't fail, when they're used severely in a severe wind event. They are at least somewhat effective. Gray vinyl cover, furnished with those 2 screws. 5 per box, 40 in a case. When you buy one, you're purchasing one, is the bottom line. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Ultra hardware products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Ultra 15850 30.5 inch length heavy-duty crash chain or any other Ultra hardware product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.